Hey everyone, welcome to this segment of Black Spring with Autumn, and good morning to everyone. I just had to come to you this morning with a few things. Well, mostly it's going to be centered around one thing, but it's going to be a bit of a commentary slash theory that I will be presenting, that I will be focusing on, and as we go into the primaries, it may be helpful for, you know, someone that's looking for, some criteria or guidance in their own selections for the primaries and for their voting in their districts. So, I know by now everybody knows that there's been a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts, a lot of theories, of course from the left, a lot of fear mongering, a lot of anti-American support for the actions of the president. We have, of course, Nancy Pelosi yesterday in her press conference seeking a measure to weaken the president with a limit of powers. So that's where I want to start. That's where I'm starting from. So let's just get into that a little bit. Of course, if you're here, a little bit of engagement rules. If you are here, I always invite you to, of course, like, share, subscribe. That helps with all the suppression that's happening for conservatives as well as patriots. Our voices are being squelched and subverted on these networks. In fact, I do have a BitChute channel. I will be putting more content there and just trying to balance things out. But let's get on to the point of, I'd like to get started in this. We had a revelation yesterday, so I just want to, it was a crazy Wednesday. It was fully loaded, is what I say. We had, of course, Ilhan Omar talking about her PTSD, all this talk of war, and oh my God, obviously she survived something. Her story is that's another segment. But, of course, you had yesterday's war resolutions, and hi, Jeff B. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Appreciate you for being here. How's everybody doing? And also, of course, you had the mention of the AUMF, the Iraq wars of the past. We have a long history dealing with Iraq, the nuclear weapons programs. I cringe to say Black Bush. If you know what I'm saying, that would be another segment. So I won't get to that just now. But let's get into this particular, to the crown. Let's go to the crown of the stream today. I'm kind of piloting these streams, and as I said previously, I'll be having guests to come on as, of course, as things get going. We're getting ready to move into a busy primary primary season. We've got the Virginia situation is, as I said, going hot and going fast. So let's get on with it. Right now, I would like for you to take a look with me. We have Representative Matt Gaetz. Now, I'm going to take my time a little bit on this platform let's talk about Mr. Gaetz a little bit. Mr. Gaetz has almost been a firebrand on the House floor in the impeachment hearings. He has been, to me, like a huge cheerleader of President Trump's. And then, of course, you have more Doug Collins. You've had the representative, the Senate from, I can't think of his name right now, from Ohio. I can't think of his name. Mr. Jordan, absolutely, they've been absolute firebrands. I appreciate you for spending your time at work with me from work here on this platform. Now, what I want to say is that, of course, during that resolution yesterday, you had all kinds of, from the left, we're not safe. We're not as safe now because of what President Trump has done. He's reckless, and he's warmonger, he just wants power and da 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 da, and he's dangerous, and what will he do next? This whole toothless resolution, but it does show on a global scale for foreign policy, it's not good for these people to be bucking the president on protecting American lives, sovereignty, our assets, our interests, the whole 9 yards. It's not good. So, with that said, give me just 1 second here. I'll go back to the subject at hand here. So what I want to do is Mr. Gaetz has been showing symptoms of a rhino to me before, even during the impeachment hearings. He's been showing signs without a doubt. And for those of you that did not know, I think there were 3 people that voted in support of the Democrats' war power limiting resolution yesterday. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Matt Gaetz, Representative Matt Gaetz voted in support of this limitation of power for President Trump. So either he's channeling his inner John McCain, or he's thinking he's going to be profitable somewhere else down the pike. But I just wanted to let you see that. But I also wanted you to hear from Mr. Gaetz himself. Of course, he's offered a defense, and let's go to that.
Matt Gaetz of Florida, who is one of the president's closest allies, maybe his single closest ally in the House of Representatives, he joins us now. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. So I think it's fair to say you're certainly one of the people in the House closest to the president. He's completely opposed to this. You, as his close ally, voted for it. Tell us why you did that.
I spoke to the president today after one of America's brave patriots was laid down at Arlington, one of my constituents who passed away just days before Christmas in Afghanistan. And the president told me he's more anti-war than I am. And I love the president for that, Tucker. The thing is, I think you got a few of the advisors of the president who are trying to slow walk the administration into war. When the president relies on his instincts and we have the Trump doctrine, we kill the terrorists and we come home. And I think this war powers resolution was worthy of support because it did not criticize the president. It did not say he was wrong in killing Soleimani, but it did say that if any president wants to drag our nation into another forever Middle East war, that they require the approval of the United States Congress. That's something I deeply believe, and I think it's something the president deeply believes.
So why wouldn't, first of all, I think that the Constitution requires that. I think it's pretty obvious that it does. But why wouldn't Congress, if they're so in favor of a military action, put themselves on the record endorsing it? It seems like one of the reasons people oppose this is because they're afraid. They're cowards in the Congress.
It's unfortunate that I think we have members of Congress that depart from what the framers and founders believed would happen. They believed that we would closely guard our Article 1 powers and that we would ensure that no president would be able to take those away in any sort of affront to what was intended for us to be our responsibility. It's my belief that declaring war is a non-delegable duty of the United States Congress, and it's ludicrous for any of my colleagues to suggest that we have to not do our job so that people in uniform can do theirs. We can actually do both, Tucker.
Yeah, just be totally clear. You're one of 3 Republicans who voted, in effect, against the president's stated position, but you just talked to the president, and he said that he's on your side.
Well, the president probably would have preferred that I vote with the other Republicans. He certainly said that. But I think on these broader questions of war and peace, Donald Trump understands that the pro-war candidate loses presidential elections. Hillary Clinton was more pro-war and lost. And if you look previously, it's typically the anti-war candidates that win. I think since 9/11, John Kerry was the only anti-war candidate that lost an election. And so I think that the president understands that, and he's too smart to let Nancy Pelosi try to cast him as the pro-war candidate, and that's why I don't think we're going to war with Iran.
I think it's a smart analysis. Congressman, thanks so much for explaining that. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so hopefully you caught that. It's kind of, there you go. But there again, his explanation to me was not exactly an explanation. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but I don't think that's quite an explanation as to why he did that. He's saying that this is about, more or less about not letting Nancy paint him into a corner. Oh, and here's the history. People who are typically warmongers or support war, they lose their campaigns as president. Well, thank you, Jeff B. It is very surprising to see that Matt Gaetz voted in favor of that. Oh, but wait. Oh, but wait. We're not quite done with Mr. Gaetz. This is why I've been suspicious of him. I did a previous video on Mr. Gaetz and some other activity that he's been involved in. It says, you said, Jeff, wow, he just referenced John. I believe this is Carrie. Let me move this here. Let's see. Let's move that a little bit. He just referenced John Kerry, of course. Oh my God. Yes, yes. John Kerry is another one. That's another show. But yes, John Kerry is to me, very globalist, very anti-American. All of these people are running private partnerships and public-private partnerships all over the globe right now. And I'll get to why they're doing it in just a second here. But what I want to do right now is I want to take you guys to the point of contention here. As far as I'm concerned, for Mr. Gaetz, is why I suspected that he was a rhino for a while now. Now, what you're about to see is, to me, you're going to see, here we are. Okay, if you'll look with me just right now, with all the buzz about the climate change and da-da-da-da-da, there is an actual Climate Solutions Caucus created by 501c Citizens Climate Lobby. Here it is. It's calling them out. Republicans and Democrats working together in Congress. Climate change is increasingly hurting Americans across the country. And Republican and Democrat legislators in Congress understand the need to act. To that end, both chambers of Congress have established bipartisan climate solution caucuses. Now, that's an automatic. Anybody that's entangled in this is a walking contradiction. Okay? These caucuses are for members to discuss climate solutions and to work on climate legislation. Okay? So let's rock on here. We go to the Senate. The Senate section. The Climate Solutions Caucus was formed in 2019 by Senator Michael Braun, that's spelled with a B-R-A-U-N, Republican of Indianapolis, and Senator Chris Coons, D of Delaware, I presume, I'm pretty sure that's correct. As the only bipartisan caucus focused on climate change, the Senate Climate Solutions Caucus plays an important role in the Republican-held Senate. The Senate Climate Solutions Caucus is designed to be a small and active working group for focused solutions. As well, you have House of Representatives. The House Climate Solutions Caucus is chaired by Ted Deutsch, a Democrat of Florida, 22nd, district, and Francis Rooney, Republican of Florida, 19. A lot of Republicans out of Florida on this House of Representatives climate coup. The Climate Solutions Caucus was initially formed in February of 2016 by Representative Deutsch and former Representative Carlos Curbelo, another Florida Republican from 26th District, and it has already played an important role in facilitating climate change discussions and the introduction of the bipartisan solutions. So now, ladies and gentlemen, for my next trick, I will show you the names on this particular list. You will find people in your district or wherever you are. You may find people in your district that are on this list. So I'm going to read some of it, but then, of course, it's always going to be provided for you later. It's going to be provided for you, of course, in this particular video. But let's go with the Republicans. For the Senate Climate Solution Caucus member, we have Lisa Murkowski, which she came out from Alaska. Senator Lisa Murkowski. So there you go. Here's another person, to me, another globalist rhino. The president is not safe with these people, and I really don't know how he deals with these people on a regular basis. In fact, you heard Matt Gaetz say that he had a conversation with the president. And it's just like, you know what, President Trump, you gotta have eyes in the back of your head. You really gonna have to do that. He almost needs like a backup set of legislators, because these people are all compromised. So we're going to go, we have Michael Braun of Indianapolis, Lisa Murkowski, Republican of Alaska, Mitt Romney. Is anybody surprised? Mitt Romney, Republican of Utah. Senator Lindsey Graham, there's our other friend, Mr. Gramnesty himself from South Carolina. Democrat, Senator Chris Coons of Delaware. Jean Shaheen, Democrat of New Hampshire. Senator Angus King of Maine. It's an independent, which Senator Michael Bennet, Democrat of Colorado. All right, so that is your Senate Climate Caucus members. And here we go. I'll just give you a few of these. House Climate Solutions Caucus members. Of course, Francis Rooney of Florida. He's the co-chair. Representative Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin is another person that's been a firebrand on the floor. This is very problematic. These rhinos need to be exposed, and we've got to put people in office that are going to expose them, because these are the same people that are shouting Trump, 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 Trump. I support Trump, 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 Trump. But then they go out and look what they do. Okay, Mark Amadei, okay, him, I don't know all of these representatives, but Matt Gaetz is on this list, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Gaetz, I guess from the number 1 district in Florida. Representative Gaetz is a Republican on the House Climate Solutions Caucus member. He voted against the Paris Agreement, the H.R. 9, but look what he's doing. I'm just saying, does anybody else see that these people are walking contradictions? Are they walking time bombs? And Mitt Romney, Mitt Romney is to me one of the most despicable ones. But here, this particular page is available. You can see all of the names. But I'm just thinking, with President Trump being in office, everybody says, "Oh, we've got a much stronger, Republican Party now." Well, how is it going to be that with all these entanglements? All these foreign entanglements. Hi, Eric. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. And I had to do this morning, because it was surprising to me that I saw that on Tucker Carlson, that, Matt, but I figured it was going to happen sooner than later, because you can't have people serving on these kinds of caucuses and yet they're shouting Trump, 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 Trump. I'm a champion for Trump on the floor and defending him. It's a bit much. So I'm just saying, he needs to grow eyes in the back of his head. I don't know. It's just getting, to me, we look weaker as a nation, that we've got people crying tears for Soleimani. We've got Ilhan Omar saying she has PTSD. We've got Nancy Pelosi, even I did a video on Rand Paul, which I'm not a loyalist to anybody, but I do respect those members who are constitutionally responsible in the measures and the way that they vote. But at the same time, it just poses, President Trump is probably tired of defending what he's doing. He said from day one, he's not a warmongering president, nor is he didn't want another Benghazi. The Democrats clearly wanted another Benghazi. And to me, that's all this would have been if they had not acted. What do you guys think? Neither Gaetz or Rooney are in my district here in Florida. Well, I'm saying I see quite a few of these people are from Florida, which, of course, with the snowbirds or whatever, a lot of people move down from New York to Florida. And I think that might be a lot of reasons why, you got some infiltration there. They are trying to flip these seats, flip these districts, and it's easier to do that when you have liberals, you know, migrating from liberal states to red states. That's the problem with Texas right now. You've got all these people that are, coming, they're complaining about what's happening in California, but they're bringing the same culture and voting for the same people in the red states. So just give me just 1 second here. So yeah, I just thought that, that you guys might find that a little bit interesting, that Gaetz is on, he is in a gray area. Like I said, I don't know if he's channeling his inner McCain, but the president cannot trust these people. I just don't know. I don't know what it's going to take, but I just don't think they're to be trusted. And with this season starting up, they're doing everything they can to find reasons to. You said Vern Buchanan is your representative. Now, I didn't bother to say, is he on this list? I mean, I didn't go through that list, but it definitely is definitely there. Let's just check it out. You said it's Vern Buchanan. Let's look and see if he's there, Jeff. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. But this is all very interesting, the way that this country, to me, has been supporting some high level of, this is like, we've got some high level of, like a level of communist support. The UN, for one, is a communist organization founded by communists. Why are we still foreign entangled with all these people and all this fiscal, spending, and the Green New Deal and this climate stuff is as big as the election. There's going to be tons of, I think, amendments and proposals that are just going to support the whole drive. John Kerry, for one, has he's out here rallying for donations and money for climate change. It's a global tax. The wealth redistribution, the Paris Agreement, all of these things, all of these people that talk about the left and the liberals that talk against capitalism, but they need to go through our American capitalism to support, their socialism. And it's just staggering. So I'm looking for Vern. I'm looking for him, and I don't see him. I mean, of course, I could read these names, but I just wanted to do that because you're on here and you're taking your time to tune in, and I really appreciate it. But it's not that I'm not offering negative Nellies for emotional support, or it's not my joy to expose these people. But President Trump is not in for this whole global climate change. We're actually on tap for global cooling, which weakens that whole argument. Why can't they bring in some scientists to support their argument rather than to keep bring a child, Greta Thunberg, over from Europe, a child that she's got a lot of social protections on her. She's a female. She's got autistic. Has an autistic condition. You can't. She's a child, so you got all these protections. You can't talk about her, or you're a child, or you I don't know. You hate children, or you gotta. I'm not submitting to any of that, but of course that's what they'll say. But she's the UN's agent of change. That's what the UN's writing curriculums. The Democrats are in full step with the UN Agenda 2030. They are pushing, sex education for 5-year-olds, teaching 5-year-olds that masturbation is pleasurable. In fact, I don't have any kids, but I'm going to start going to council meetings, start speaking out against these drag queen story times. I don't know if that's happening in your guys' area, but it's something that's happening. This is just, to me, they're opening the door for more wicked, why do you need to sexualize these kids? Why do you need to do that? But I think I know why it is. All of this stuff, this climate change and all this stuff, even in Italy, they're offering climate Climate courses will become a part of the curriculum. They have to have 33 hours. Now, how long before that happens here? It's not going to be long. 33 hours of climate change in the curriculum. And they're going to talk about population control, wealth redistribution. This is all the U.S. President Trump is standing in the way of this whole globalist agenda. Who runs the world? Who's going to rule the world? Who's going to do it? I don't think that I've been that off on these things, but I think it's all related, you know. So it's like, yeah, but there again, let me get back. I'm going off on a tangent. So if anything you guys want to offer here, that's totally fine. But yeah, and then you have Goldman Sachs, all these companies, they think they're going to be profitable because of all of this, the green deals, and it's just, it's not. Of course, if you're a Republican and the president's position on that, I would think that if these people are not rhinos, why aren't they coming out of these caucuses, or what are they doing? See, Florida has been changing the last election. We almost elected a Democrat socialist governor. Climate change and environmental issues are big here in Florida politics. Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether you're wired from anybody, if you're here, whether you're a Christian or whether you're a patriot, everybody's welcome here. But, just if you're from a biblical perspective, there's, in, Revelations? I don't want to misquote the Bible for somebody that is. But, we've been told of, people have heard of not being able to tell one season to the next. So when does throwing money, the climate changes all the time. When does throwing money at Mother Nature, when does that change the weather or change, in that case, we can't even do a 7-day or 5-day forecast. So we're going to throw money at climate change? I don't know. I'm just looking for following the logic, or just what's the narrative. I don't follow the logic. I don't. But there again, to me, it's about the redistribution of wealth is what it is. And but here again, the scientists are saying we are actually facing a global cooling, which of course that weakens their argument. But you don't see anybody driving down the argument. They're ramping it up. You've got John Kerry in Europe rallying for partnerships and raising money, and you've got Jane Fonda, you've got all these people hitting the streets and doing all these things. It's just, it's just too much. It's just, I remember, I'm going back into my generation here, if you will. I mean, I remember the whole Y2K thing, like, oh my God, what happens if the zero doesn't turn over on the computer? Does anybody remember that? Oh, the world's going to end in 2000, and, I mean, this has been a campaign. To me, this has all not been prophesied, but there's been a plan for globalism for a long time. I think the UN was created with that in mind. I can't pinpoint it. 1945, around 1945 is when the UN was basically chartered. And of course, FDR, I'm sorry to say, but every time that this country has lost something in terms of sovereignty and independence, to me, I do think it has been more of a result of an administration of a Democrat administration. I mean, our gold standard, our gold backing, we lost that under Democrat leadership. I mean, Federal Reserve, Democrat leadership. I mean, I don't even know how this party has still been. They've gained strength. They have not been weakened, and I don't know how this country will survive if this continues, because somebody once said we're on the doorstep of some major some major change. Like, to me, they're just waiting for full consolidation, just like the Soviet Union. They're waiting to so I hate to say it, they're waiting to hand it off. They're waiting to do it. And I don't know, I've seen all the info on the voter rolls. They've got millions of names, that voter rolls that need to be purged, you know, voting from beyond the grave. You've got all kinds of names on these voter rolls. And of course, you've got the ACLU coming out, and ay, ay, ay. I'm just, does anybody have any of these issues going in your area? I really appreciate you guys for tuning in for this particular segment here, but I'm not sure. I do have a video that's coming out later today, but I'm not sure what's happening in the Senate. Let's see, Eric. I am a Trump convert, and I stand behind him fully on the issues of immigration and anti-globalism, America first, economically, anti-foolish wars, and anti-socialism. Yes, Eric, I am. I will say. I've said this previously. I voted for Barack Obama 2 terms. Okay, there it is. I did that. But if I could ask for some type of forgiveness or whatever, then I would, because the guy, some people refer to him as Black Bush. He's definitely, it seemed like a good idea, and I just think he just had a talent for just saying stuff that didn't make any sense. All the sectors that he talked about on energy, but then you look at how flat our economy was. We had a flat economy that was flat as Europe after the whole, the whole, when the bubble burst, and then the auto industry, the bank bailouts. I mean, he started doing government overreach. FDR, all of these Democrats channeled the same. They wanted everybody to believe that, without a doubt, that FDR and his New Deal saved the U.S., which what he did was, he increased, government programs. And Obama had a lot of government programs. What was it? We ended up getting like a stimulus payment or something. And, I mean, in terms of the central banks, I don't know. I think there was some issue with him there, but I know he wanted to do a lot of social, the health, the Obamacare. I got kicked off of my insurance. They said, oh, you can keep your doctor. I got a letter from my doctor, said that, we will no longer be accepting this, or we are not going to accept this. So I had to get another plan. If your doctor says they're not going to accept your insurance plan, then what do? You have to get another doctor, somebody that's going to accept. I wasn't on it very long because I got a promotion in my job, where I changed jobs, and I actually got went back to full on private insurance. But that was a difficult time. And then that marketplace, those prices were really not that much more. They weren't affordable. I mean, I saw some ridiculous prices in the marketplace that they had that was no more affordable than just going out and getting your own. I don't, like I said, I voted for Barack Obama twice. And I tell you, before the end of his less than halfway between his second term, before the end of his second term, I was already done with him. I was already done with all the radical and rallying he did, with the BLM, the Black Lives Matter, the Trayvon Martin comments. And when he did that stuff, it's like, okay, now you're doing something. Now the true radical, the Saul Alinsky, now you're bringing that out. You guys, he idolized Saul Alinsky. Hillary Clinton idolized Saul Alinsky. I think, in fact, Hillary Clinton even wrote a dissertation or something on Saul Alinsky. So these people are, they are, masterful at, empowering people or making people feel like they're being empowered, which they're actually fleecing them. So, but I'm saying I did vote for Barack Obama myself. I voted for Donald Trump. Yes, without a doubt. I liked everything. Let's see, Jeff, been with my wife for 30 plus years. We got married to beat Obamacare. She has awesome insurance through her work. Wow, Jeff. That's amazing. I appreciate you sharing that. I mean, but that's sad. It's sad. Hi, Celia's. I want to be. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see everyone. But yeah, I'm saying these things are. There's a lot of things that I didn't agree with. But Donald Trump was very, to me, he was very firm. And at the beginning of his presidency, private citizen, they said, oh well, he will channel, you know, President Reagan, and I do see that. I would like to. I'm going to tell you what I would like to see. I'd like to see the president ramp it up a little bit more on this 2A of the Second Amendment, because I think that's going to be pretty tough. Let's see. Okay, Eric, I'm reading your comment here. It says Democrat Party motto is, "It is everyone's fault but your own. 0% personal accountability." Absolutely, because you know why? I figured out. Because as long as people are victims, they feel that they victimize other people. They just keep hurting other people. Oh, I can hurt people because I've been hurt, and it just goes on and on. There's no responsibility in victimhood, so that's why it's a part of their. It gives them life. I noticed, from my background. Yes, you are blue. You are blue. Yes, thank you, moderator. Thank you. And I did say this. I would throw in some moderators as I would, grow the channel. I hopefully to grow the channel with you guys, and I'm always open to even ideas or what things you guys want to see. There's going to be some panels that I want to open up. That are going to be some interactive panels where people are going to come on. And then, of course, we will have people that will disagree or whatnot on here, and that's fine. Oh, that's fantastic. The stock market hit 29,000. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the president does. You still got people out here telling Americans that that the Green New Deal is going to allow them to not work and just be finger painters on the weekends or whatever. They can just stay at home and be artists or whatever. They don't. I mean, this country thrives because we've had a work ethic. We've had a huge work ethic, and many people worked. I mean, it's this generation that's wanting to, consolidate and live under controlled means and limited access. Yes, I will be following that because 401k is important, by the way. I'm just going back to what you're saying, Celia, as I want to be with those numbers. The 401k should be looking better, But what I was saying I'm sharing a little bit about, yes, I voted for President Trump, right in 2016. I mean, first of all, the Democrat Party was, the party just, what was it, that whole thing with Donna Brazile and sharing questions and Hillary and Bernie, that was a fully loaded election to vote in. I mean, to me, it was very entertaining to see how Donald Trump handled himself on stage with all these, vet politicians. He was fierce, and he has remained fierce as president. I remember Marco Rubio. Just the people that he was standing on that stage next to, and I'm just thinking they've got to be kidding themselves if they think that anybody that they have can still they can't take him down with what? There's not only there's no substance, they're full on socialist or worse, as he says, and they want to take America's money and just do whatever they want to do. They want to take our money and claim that they're doing foreign aid but getting kickbacks. In fact, there is a great book coming out. I can't remember the name of it, but it's coming out. It's something about the Biden Five. I'm going to be looking for that particular book when it comes out. but I think it's going to be a great book. And it also highlights some of the contemporaries in this particular 2020 race of candidates. I think I saw Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Warren, but definitely it talks about the Biden family and how they've basically gotten rich, basically off of our money. So I thought that I'll get the title of it, but the author has written something else that's that was a pretty big seller as well. But I will have that for you. But yeah, I just wanted to share the Rhino, the Matt Gaetz pinning ceremony, if you will. All right, Jeff. I appreciate you for being here. I see you around for sure. But yeah, so I'm just, what else is next? I'm just waiting for Senator Graham because I think Graham does a lot of talking, and I have not seen him do a lot. I see him pulling out a lot of charts and tripods and things, but it would be nice to see. I remember there was an issue at once in which, before the impeachment hearings concluded, that I think Graham was asked if he would subpoena Joe Biden's records, but then he starts talking about how he's friends with Joe Biden. See, that's what I'm saying. President Trump has to literally, he needs to do some house cleaning. And I would hope that some of these incumbents, there would be a way that some of these incumbents could be ousted, because he's got some old globalist blood in there, and it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. Not going to be smooth. If he didn't have to deal with all these elements, the president would do a lot more for the country. But I think the buzz right now, and I'm probably going to wrap this up in just a few minutes, but once again, I appreciate everybody for being here. I think the buzz right now is that the Senate, that Pelosi is, I don't know if her press conference yesterday, she said, "Oh, I'll send them over when I'm ready. We got to see what our plan is and what we're going to do and how we're going to engage." And I'm like, please stop power struggling. It's really pathetic. You're the speaker and you're not even controlling your own, you can't even control the Democrats, the squad. You're not even controlling that. So, but yeah, I think the Senate, they're preparing whatever for the Senate at this point. I think it would be nice to see the Joe Biden as well as Hunter Biden testify. I don't know how likely. I don't know if he will or not, or if I don't know what's going to become of the whole case, but once again, I really appreciate everybody for being here for this segment, and I appreciate your support coming back and just, and being open to what I'm doing here on Black Spring with Autumn. So, of course, you can always leave your comments, and like I said, we have a crown for Mr. Gaetz, but yeah, it is disappointing. It is disappointing to see that, but I'm just saying it's only going to be more. I think as the season picks up more steam, we're going to pick up more rhinos. So I'd like to thank you guys once again for being here. I will try to be more consistent with the streams and also the shows overall, but I hope to see you guys back here the next time I do a live stream. And I'll start scheduling the goal is to start scheduling a regular show, but those shows will definitely have a special guest or a panel on the show. So without further ado, I will see you guys next time on Black Spring with Autumn. You guys have a great weekend.